This is for the leaders, the visionaries, the hope bringers, kindness instigators. This is your place to get loved, poured into, activated, and inspired. Well, good morning. Welcome to Fireside Friday, January 9th, 2026. This is our first fireside of a new year. And it's really good to be back with you in this space. I will admit that as I was sitting, I'm going to get emotional. I have my handy dandy if you're watching the videos, if you're here with me in the Zoom or if you are watching the replay. Um, these are my handy dandy tissues. I've got a toilet paper roll with me. So if needed, it's here for us. But when I was sitting to ground myself into the energy for today's fireside, it's heavy. It's heavy right now. There's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot going on in our country. And there's a lot going on inside of our homes. And we're still in winter. We actually really just started the winter season with the solstice. And before we really get into today, it just felt really important to just start with our breath and some stillness and some silence because this heaviness just needs to be honored. So just take a couple deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth and be here in this moment and feel with me. It's okay if you sit and breathe and tears come or emotions come. They show themselves when we're still or when we start to let ourselves drop in and feel. Sometimes too, even for me, if you're watching me, I've got my hand on my chest, really connecting with what's going on here. Wasn't expecting to start that way. I knew some silence was in order, but um, we're going to go with it. What I feel like in this moment that I'm being charged to share is that no matter where you find yourself today, and no matter the feelings, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if it's feeling chaotic, if it's feeling unbearable, if it's feeling promising for this new year and you're moving into some new momentum wherever you find yourself. We have a gambit here, but I think there is a lot of the world pressing in right now. And I think our charge is to remember that as creatives, as leaders, as people who want to create meaningful work in the world, that means also that we do, as we've been talking about. I mean, this is going to remain at the center, forward focus, I think, for most of what Fireside looks like. It really is tending the fire that is within us because each of us, I believe, is here intentionally. I believe we chose to come for such a time as this. I believe that these moments we chose before we came, and also that there is a divinity to this life, that there is something bigger than what I can see and perceive in my immediate awareness. And even when I drop in and I try to get in touch with some sensations and instincts that I feel like we've lost, that go beyond our natural way of explaining them. No matter what, I do believe that we're here to connect with one another, to be in this moment together. And that if that's the case, then what is my role in this moment? I think that's what I continue to come back to. Because when we go and we scale out and things feel so big, and by the way, that's part of the design of people who are creating this chaos. They want you dysregulated, they want you confused, they want you to throw your hands up. But if we continue to come back and ground and center and to take care of ourselves and to follow what's just right in front of me, what is this next thing before me? What do I want to contribute in this moment? But knowing too that sometimes our contribution looks like tending our fire. That's something that has been revolutionary for me to continue coming home to, that my work actually starts here. And then it ripples out from there. It doesn't start outside me where I'm tending all the things, even though my heart feels drawn outside my body so much to the people who I live with, to the people I love, to the community I live inside of, to the world that we live in. Our heart does want to move, but it's so important that we move in a way that honors our own unique energy, our own needs in the moment. I feel like this is something that I continue to come back to as well, is that this is a marathon. It is not a sprint. This is not new. The chaos is going to continue. And I really do feel like to be the leaders and the lovers and the instigators of hope that we want to be means that means too that this hearth of our own needs its own required attention and space. And many of you who listen do take time to do this. What I am coming into the message today is just to remind you that this is where we start. If we can come back in and ground and regulate here, we can be the peacemakers in the chaos. We can maintain the stamina that we need to respond. We can create the things and the initiatives and healing and the things that we want to create. But first, we have to really make sure that we're walking closely with our fire. What does our fire need? Um, and I have a couple things that I pulled because I feel like they really speak to this moment, and actually both are artists in their own way. I feel like we're all artists. I really hate when people say that they're not artistic, because I feel like we have this idea that art is paint and paper or, colorful macrame, whatever. I think that art is taking something that didn't exist before and creating. Like, that's art. Um, and it moves us. There is really powerful, powerful momentum that comes also from being creative, restorative. And so I feel like that is a charge for us too this month, is to find something creative as well to do with our souls that feels important. It feels like something, again, that's going to be reviving or nourishing. So finding something this month to do that will feel really engaging creatively and maybe push you outside of your comfort zone, even if you're not an artist. But let me pull up my first one. This quote came from Tony, Tony. And I'm going to read it here for you first, and then I'm going to unpack some of it. This is precisely the time when artists go to work. There is no time for despair, no place for self-pity, no need for silence, no room for fear. We speak, we write, we do language. This is how civilizations heal. I know the world is bruised and bleeding, and through it, and though it is important not to ignore its pain, it is also critical to refuse to succumb to its malevolence. Like failure, chaos contains information that can lead to knowledge, even wisdom, like art. So, what I like about this is I do think it's so important for us to remain uh, at hope's door. What I disagree with about Tony's process is I do think there is time for despair, and there is time for you to have silence and room for fear. I think that's one of the things that, yes, I don't believe that we need to be fearful, but I do think it's important for us to feel our fear. That's something I'm working on for myself, like really acknowledging if I'm feeling afraid. It's hard for me to identify when that's the case. Because for so long, and when I was a little human, I felt like it was my job to make it safe for the adults in my life. And so it's still difficult sometimes, even now, feeling like that is one of my roles to make it safe for the adults in my life. For it also to be okay, for it to not feel safe to me, and for me to be able to have those feelings, feel them, and hold them with myself so that I can actually move through them. Just like a child who may be afraid of something hiding in its closet, it may in its closet, in he or his or her closet. Um, ignoring the monster is not going to help your kiddo sleep. But acknowledging or taking a flashlight and looking in that space and going like, tell me what you see. What's here? What's causing you this trouble, my friend? Like, my dear love, what is causing this trouble? This is part of our work as leaders. It needs to become part of our repertoire. We need support, just like everyone else, and just like those that we are here to support. So my like I said, my big hold up with that is I used to also be like, yes, no fear, like we're gonna do it, we're gonna jump this cliff and go. But you know what that also did? That alienated me from people who didn't feel like they could go. And sometimes in our leadership, we need to experience, I feel like I can't go. I need to really feel what it feels like to not believe I can go so that I can sit with people who believe that they can't go. Um, and I think that that's brought me a lot of comfort in embracing some of those differences. I still had to start with believing it was for another person. And I just laugh because that's just part of how I've had to learn. And I think that probably resonates for a lot of us as women. Um, I also brought this little guy here. It's an acorn. He's missing his top. But I keep the acorn in my room. It's in this like little holder with some earrings and things, and sometimes I'll just look at it. But this little acorn, it's an oak acorn. Oak trees can get to be so big and massive. Why I keep the acorn is to remind me that seeds start out small. That everything that's in this little seed here, right, has everything it's meant to produce in this life. If it has the right components, it's going to produce a tree that will be a home, that will be a haven and a place of wisdom, a place to hold the ground in place, a haven for animals and critters, all with this little seed. And each of you here listening in this space, like not only are you a little seed that's here, maybe in the soil or wondering what 2026 is going to hold, but just in general, everything that you want to birth starts out as these little seeds. And seeds need darkness to grow. That's always been, well, not always, over the last year, that's really been something that I've been really sitting with is that, yes, and they need light, but they start in the darkness, these seeds, just like a womb in the soil. It's dark. There's a lot going on there. So remember, even in the chaos and the darkness that we can feel too, okay, there's still promise coming. I believe that. That's something that I cannot let go of. It is part of what I choose to believe and also what helps anchor me. Um, and there have been times when I've let that waver too, to really get to the bottom of my discomfort, and to let it be okay if that faith or that hope wavers. It's not my job. I don't believe this anymore because I spent a lot of time trying to change my behavior, or judge my behavior to look a different way. And instead, I've now started watching my feelings, emotions, or behaviors show themselves first and then ask or notice or listen. I feel like that's the other piece here too, is listening to ourselves in these moments is really, really important. The next thing I wanted to share is over here. Just have to find my floating window. I had it playing in the room before we got started. Um, and it's something I've been listening to on repeat, but I have found again a lot of comfort from it, and I listen to it a lot. Music right now for me, music is huge. It's always been so important. Um, let's see. So these are some lyrics from a song that was playing here before we got started, and I think it really encapsulates a lot of what we need to hear. And then I'll do our card, okay? One of the most powerful things that you can remember right now. Okay, this is It Is Well. Amen. It Is Well by David Anka, Lori Ladd, and Reels Choir. Okay, and it was released in 2024. One of the most powerful things that you can remember right now is that you chose to be a here in this human experience, courageously, into this most miraculous and chaotic planet. You're not here to suffer, you're here to remember. The soul that you are, the light that you're here to shine, and all the emotion and thought you will feel and think in between the beginning, it is well with your soul, and the end of this one precious life, it is well with your soul. When I'm down and out and no one to hold, in the still of the night when sorrow calls, when chaos on my mind starts to settle in, and limiting beliefs begin to startle me, I just close my eyes and remember, hey, this too shall pass. I know storms don't last always. And it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. Use you, abuse me, O media. Where do we go with this hysteria? Did we become the news or victims of thieves of always with the news playing God? What about dissolve the external noise? Come back home. It's too loud out there. Remember, oh child, it is well with your soul. It is well with your soul. Remember, you chose to be here courageously. And just the final stanza, you are not here to suffer. You're here to remember the soul that you are, the light that you're here to shine, and all the emotion and thought that you feel and think in between the beginning and the end of this one precious life. It is well with your soul. And I feel like, too, for me to get to a place of being well with my soul, it has meant that things are not well. It has meant that I've had to acknowledge where it's not well and also know I will have what I need as I need them, even if the ground feels uneven, even if I don't know how I'm going to come around the corner in front of me, even if I'm not sure what my role looks like to play in the moment when I have so many uh, loving things I want to bring. Whatever that looks like for you and wherever you find yourself, it's okay if it's not well with your soul. That's where we start. That's where we get into some of those spaces with us to really create the space that it could not be well and be okay that it's not well. It's okay that it's not well. It's okay that it's chaotic. It's okay that it's not right, because it isn't. And it's not okay that it's not well. And it's not okay. It's not. So being in the middle of that, of like, it's okay. I'm going to find my way to it as well. And it takes us all different times. And there is also, I think, benefit in some of the friction when we won't let it be well. um, anyway, I don't think I've ever pulled this card from this deck, so I'm excited to see what it is. And if I have, it's been a long time. So today's card is Star Ancestor. Follow the voice of your soul. Message. Heed the messages coming directly from your soul. The star ancestor is a term for extraterrestrial light beings who are dedicated to the healing and growth of the world. These incredible beings are divine embodiments of love who bring wisdom from the higher realms. Often people feel a sense of connectedness when they look up to the night sky and see the stars. I believe that's because they are remembering their starry connections, and those are what the card represents. The star ancestor is reminding you that you have otherworldly support and that your friends from the stars can help you if you are willing to be helped. They can support you in connecting with you and following your soul's deeper calling. Extended message of the card. There is a deeper purpose to your human journey. Not only were you born on purpose, you were born for a purpose. You were born to be a bright light in the world, and there are supporters out there in the universe sending waves of energy to guide you at this time. Information and inspiration that has been coming your way recently is not new information, but memories. Your feelings of being drawn in a particular direction are the awakening of an aspect of your soul. You're being drawn towards a road that will not only light you up, but also help you light up your corner of the world. Continue following the cosmic guidance that is coming your way. I love this. There is a deeper purpose to your human journey. Not only were you born on purpose, you were born for a purpose, right? And you are being sending. I believe that every time we're also lighting our hearth, we're lighting the corner of where we're meant to shine, and we're going to see each other as we shine through all that's going to come through 2026. And I'm so grateful to be in this space with you, to shine our lights together, to find a way to it is well with my soul, and to be in the spaces where it's not yet well with our souls, to sit and hold space with ourselves and each other. And we're going to do it together. It's been so good to be with you today. I'll see you next week.